Hello everybody, Simmo here with another expansion review. Today I'm going to be doing a quick look at the expansion for Spartacus, a game of blood and treachery. It is the Serpents and the Wolf expansion, as you can see here. I absolutely love Spartacus. I only play the game 4-player. My friends who play it with me, we absolutely have a blast with it. We throw in one house rule, that is, whatever happens, playing Spartacus stays playing Spartacus. And if we're going to play it again in a week's time, 2 weeks' time, we forget what happened in the previous game because grudges can hold for quite a long time. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about the actual game itself. I'm making the assumption that you've already looked into the game, whether you already own it or whether you're looking to buy it and the expansion as well. So what does this add? Well, if you're a fan of the show, it adds a lot, because when the sort of vanilla board game came out, I think they were in season 2 of the show. Now season 3's been and gone. They've added all of season 3 stuff into there with the characters and intrigues and things like that. So what do they add? Well, first of all, they add 2 new houses to be, as you can see there. You've got, I can't pronounce his name, Verinius. His special is all about playing around with people's intrigue. And you've got Sepius, which is all about extra guards. They start with different things. It's just nice to have 2 new houses with different abilities. That means that there are now 6 houses in total, so there's always going to be 2 put aside. So theoretically, each game that you play will be slightly different, because there's always going to be a different house thrown in there unless people keep choosing the same thing. Also, you get 2 new models. I haven't painted these. You get a guy with a massive hammer and a guy with an axe and a shield. In terms of quality of the figures, I actually think that they're better. I'm sorry that my camera's not good enough to focus, but you get the general idea of them too. I think they're more detailed, and I'm looking forward to painting them. I just think they're a better quality of figure. I think the original game was a success, and I think they've input some extra money into this, which is great. Also, you get a load of new intrigue cards. I mean, I've put them all together. This is the size of the intrigue deck now. So if you're a fan of playing intrigues, you're not going to get bored. There are tons of them in here now. A massive wedge. You get some new ones. You get some nice new reactions. I don't know if you can see that. You see the arrow here. Normally, an intrigue will give you a number which is a value. For example, this one here, you need to play this reaction, but you need 8 influence. Whereas with these now, you can play it on someone with a higher influence than you or someone with a lower influence than you, and that's the only criteria. So if someone's getting the lead, you can pick on that person, or if you're in the lead now, because with the original game, if you were in the lead, you couldn't really do anything because people just kept picking on you. Now you can pick on the small man and sort of reward yourself because you've taken that lead, which is great. So there's a bunch of new influence cards. Some now have massive criteria, like 18 influence that you need, so you need to call upon friends, maybe the whole board, and everyone gets a piece of it, or you can just betray them, as I tend to do. So loads of new intrigue. Also, the market stuff is a little bit bigger now. You've got a load of new gladiators. I'll show you a few. If you're a fan of the show, you will recognise these. The Egyptian, who's pretty powerful. There's loads. There's new weapons, armor, special items. There again, just adds more stuff. And if you shuffle it right, every game is going to be different. No one's going to be waiting for the Achilles or Gannicus or Spartacus to come out. There are other stronger maybe gladiators in there, load of new slaves, everything like that. And that's really what it adds, the new schools. But the icing on the cake for me is you can now host a Primus. One of the problems with the original game is when there was a fight, a gladiatorial battle, only 2 people fought. And people were doing their own in-house rules on sort of free-for-alls and 2 against 2 and things like that. They've actually made that a rule now. So when you host a game, there is a card that you can play which announces a Primus, where it's a 2-on-2 fight. Which is great. But if you have an influence of 10 or more and you're hosting the games, you can just announce a Primus and do it 2-on-2. And it just makes that whole who shall I backstab and who should I make friends with throughout the game, because when it comes down to a Primus towards the end game, which is always close for us, we're always around the same influence towards the last sort of 10 to 12 influence. You need to make friends with someone who's got the good gladiators, and you want them to be on your side, because when it comes down to a Primus and it's a 2-on-2 and you've made friends with somebody who has no gladiators and you've backstabbed the guy that has all the good ones, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be with the weaker guy for fights. And that to me is the icing on the cake. And they've just made it a rule. Now, you probably could have thought of it yourself, but now that they've made it a rule, there are certain cards that help with Primuses. There are some gladiators that will actually betray people in the Primus. If you're a fan of the show, it's Asher. If you host a Primus, or if somebody hosts a Primus and you have Asher, you can actually go on somebody's side and then backstab them, and then it's a 3-on-1, which is just awesome. So that is what the game adds. It's not very expensive. I think I picked it up for about £15 to £18 off memory. It's not a big box, as you can see. It just adds more of the good stuff, which I think is what every expansion should be like. So, final thoughts, should you get it? Absolutely. If you're a fan of the board game Spartacus, get it. If you're a fan of the show and you're just doing some research, just get it, because it doesn't complicate things. It just adds more of the cool stuff. So I don't think the game is that expensive as well in terms of board game terms. It's quite a cheap game. So get them both. If you're not sure, but you're a fan of the show and you like that Spartacus world, get the expansion straight off the bat. If you already own the game, get it. I've said it a million times now. It just adds more of the good stuff. So that is me. I will be doing more. Please like and comment on my video, and I will see you soon. Thank you very much.